We are staying in the sunny state of Florida, and Alex Smith, you're up with Susan.
Hey, Susan, so nice to meet you. I can't even begin to say how I love the title. I wish it was The Art of Connecting, because I think as human beings, we never lost it. It was inside of us. I don't know if we lost it along the way somewhere, but we believe a lot of the same things. I want to say two things. One, I actually run a podcast called Stories of Selling Humans. So when you were talking about sales, like I'm in sales, and I think about it every day. Every human being I'm touching, I'm trying to connect with them in a human way. It's H to H to me. It's never B to B or B to C or B. Like you can't deny that. You can't take that out of the relationship, right? Like you can say you want to sell something to somebody, but you can't. You have to have an understanding strategy and a connection strategy. The last thing I'll say is before my question, you make me think about my dad a lot, because my dad in my life taught me so much about connection. He actually, unfortunately, in 2019, he got rushed to the hospital. He just calls me, I just want you to know I have leukemia. I didn't know what to do with that information. I'd never been close to anybody with cancer, not nearly my dad. And in the process of just a lot of like traumatic stuff in the hospital, I noticed how he would just talk to janitors and nurses, and he knew like 10 different languages. This man worked for the Smithsonian, and he taught in Africa, and he worked in the Ivory Coast, and he would just ask people like, where are you from originally? And people would tell him a lot of countries in Africa, and then he would talk to them in their language. So he would talk Creole to these these nurses, and they just were smiling. They just lit up, and I was like, this is it. This is everything. Like these people, these are nurses that weren't even working for him, working on their, like, they can't do anything for him, really. Like they weren't working on his case, but like he just wanted to know them, and so many beautiful moments came to that. So I just wanted to tell you that story. You really
love
just
that. And
you
I'm
really
sorry,
kind of
but
yeah.
I mean, last year I had unfortunately 3 hospitalizations, and so just being in the hospital, first of all, what medical staff has had to deal with these past few years with COVID, probably the fact, again, this was 2019 but I think about how hard these people work, and people don't see them as people. People see them as the person injecting them or the person giving them, and the fact that your dad did that is such a gift. And what a remarkable human he was. And I'm sorry.
Thank you. I mean, I have so many recordings, so maybe we can talk about it another time. And you're someone who is perfect for my discussion. And anybody that teaches anything to Scott, who I believe was the greatest all-time connector. I mean, there needs to be an Oscars of connecting. It is Scott McGregor would be the first recipient in my book. Amazing. But my question was, sometimes there's people like that we feel like are ahead of us, in our careers or in life. Like, I run a podcast, and I'm always thinking about like, what amazing guests, and there's a lot of great people that I could have on, and I try to reach out, and I'm like, I don't know if I can help them anything. Sometimes I like read reviews on their, books on Amazon and things like that. I'm curious, like if you've had people that, are just, you feel like in your own life that are just so hard to like, maybe you're so far away with, but there's somebody you really want to know. What are some ways that you've broken down the walls to connect with somebody that maybe, is just like a, is just maybe a famous person, or somebody that may be ahead of you in your career? Curious to know.
Lots of thoughts here. And I'll first, and please forgive me when I share this, but one of the things my mom used to say when I was a young kid was, even Queen Elizabeth farts. And Queen Elizabeth looked very different in the 60s and 70s than she does now. And the point was that we're all equal. Yes, somebody may be more advanced, somebody may be more successful, but in the end, we're all human. We're all dealing with the same struggles and desires and challenges. Now, mind you, there's not a day that goes by that I don't have imposter syndrome. So part of me hears myself saying this, and it's like, give me a break. But this notion is we all have ways we can be helpful to one another. So I like what you had said about how you can be helpful to these people. You know, we also live in a world where LinkedIn is a very, very valuable resource. And it helps if we can find a first degree that can help kind of grease the skids, so to speak, to open up. So I always see if I have someone who might be able to connect me. And then I do a little bit of that research to find out if there is something that I can be helpful. If push comes to shove and you can't be, it doesn't hurt just to invite and ask. And you'll appeal to somebody's ego. We all have them, right? But I also just try to remember when I was talking about go with your superpowers. We all have them. So there are things you can be offering. When people say to me, oh, Susan, I'm in my early 20s, you know, and how do I reach out to this person at my company who's very serious? Sometimes I just say 2 words, TikTok. I'm on lots of platforms. I can't figure out the TikTok algorithm. So if some person who's perhaps earlier in their career can help me with that, they go right to the top. I'm being a little silly, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Like, just remember, even though that person, we perceive that person to be so far along, they're the same as us.